Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ambassador's Lounge. As you all know, news from the Pakistan-Afghanistan border and Chaman are not very good. Yesterday, for the second time in less than a week, there was heavy shelling, mortar shelling from the Afghan side, which resulted in multiple fatalities on the Pakistani side. To discuss this issue, ladies and gentlemen, I have with me Ambassador Asif Durrani and Ambassador Riaz Bukhari. Asif, coming to you, how do you read these events which are happening? What do they indicate?
As you rightly pointed out, Imran, this situation is not good. If you look at it, it's just not the firing along the Chaman border. Yesterday and a week before, in which 7 people were killed and 19 were injured.
8 people now.
Now, if you include yesterday's, then it is 8 people. And this is, by and large, is a local dispute, which is, I'm told, is emerging because of the restricted visa to the Afghans. And secondly, there's a crackdown on dollar flow from Pakistan to Afghanistan. And they don't like it. Secondly, it is just not the Chaman border. They have been pulling down the fences elsewhere along the Balochistan border because that's the smuggling route. Thirdly, and which is becoming more serious, is the activities of the ISK, Islamic State Khorasan, that they have become active. 2 days ago, they attacked Kabul hotel, which is popular with the Chinese. And then a week earlier, our head of mission in Afghanistan, Ubaid Nizamani, was attacked and assassination attempt was made. And then in September, Russian diplomats, 2 Russian diplomats were killed. So these are ominous signs which are coming up. It has 2 aspects. One is Afghanistan's own situation and Taliban's capability, and second is Pakistan-Afghanistan relationship.
Riaz, coming to you. Now, in a tweet by the spokesman of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Afghanistan, he said that, well, we regret these incidents, but Pakistan should take measures to, these were his words, that Pakistan should take measures to avoid provocations. What provocations do you think we are?
I don't see
what Asif was talking about?
I don't see any provocation from the Pakistan side. If we are trying to manage our border, that is our national, responsibility. We should do that. If we are trying to check the smugglings, that we should. Nobody else should, make any objection over that. So I believe whatever is happening on the Chaman border with Afghanistan, as Asif has mentioned, smugglers are creating problems. Some tribes are creating problems. I see some people crossing and dismantling the fences, which we have, with lot of
even
resources.
Taliban are involved in pulling down the fences.
And unfortunately, I don't see any, the measure taken by the Taliban forces on the border to check these practices on Pakistan-Afghanistan border. It is their responsibility. They are not exercising their power. They have to do that. They should not be shy of their own responsibilities and should not blame Pakistan for that. I think our response to such provocation from Afghan forces have been quite measured. If you see the press release issued by ISPR, we have not targeted the civilians on the border.
Okay, but what I want to ask is that, Asif, how has our reaction, as Riaz talked about our reaction, how has our official reaction been by the government? I don't think their charge d'affaires was summoned or their head of the mission was summoned by our foreign office.
No, I think
he was.
Their head of mission was summoned. And secondly, now our head of mission will not go back
because
to
of
Kabul One, because of the assassination attempt, and secondly, we are seeking assurances for our diplomats. And if I may add what Riaz has just said, in fact, smuggling is in fact harming Afghanistan more than Pakistan. Because if you look at the bilateral trade, ever since Taliban have entered Kabul, the trade volume has increased and the balance of trade is in Afghanistan's favor.
Yes.
They had exports of $800 million equivalent dollars to Pakistan, and ours was $700 million. So in a way, it has been facilitated. It has not been hampered.
Gentlemen, my question to both of you would be that when Taliban took over last year, there was a euphoria in Pakistan. We were ecstatic, jubilance everywhere. Be it our politicians, be it our think tanks, everyone was happy at this so-called strategic victory. As if a new era of friendship, cooperation between the two countries was going to emerge. Now, and our then Prime Minister, he went and stated that, well, Taliban have broken the shackles of slavery or whatever. Now, these remarks were antagonized the West, the US. But as far as our relations with Taliban were concerned, and let me say, international writers, most of them, they told Pakistani, they warned us that please be careful, do not trust the Taliban too much. But we were on a different track. Now, what has happened? Are our relations going down? Or have we started seeing the original Taliban?
Taliban in Afghanistan has always an image problem globally. Pakistan has been, counseling and, sharing with, the world past, particularly with the United States, to talk to the Taliban. We facilitated and played some role for the success of Doha peace process. The hope was that the Taliban would be able to exercise full control over Afghanistan. They would be able to control and, all the whoever terrorists who have got refuge within Afghanistan, or they were using the Afghan soil to carry out their activities. I think they have not been able to effectively control the soil of Afghanistan. That is the problem. And image problem, as I said, that we have been...
Yes, what about our relations? Asif, what about our relations with the Taliban?
Imran, the euphoria you talked about was uncalled for. Our Prime Minister's statement, which annoyed the West, was not only undiplomatic, but it touched the boundaries of naivety, not understanding the sensitivities involved, and more importantly, Taliban are not a monolith. Here we misjudged that perhaps the whole Taliban, they will now be, ruling the country. There'll be peace. There is comparative peace. There is no doubt about it. But they are a splinter group. And then there are groups within Taliban which are anti-Pakistan because they thought that our role after the 9/11 was not friendly. So we should have no illusion about the Taliban. I've been writing personally about that you have to be careful. You have to keep a reasonable distance as far as diplomacy is concerned, as far as political rapprochement, and as far as political outreach is concerned.
As if you said there are groups within Taliban who are anti-Pakistan. What I am seeing is that Taliban as a group are not very friendly. I won't say anti-Pakistan, but they are not very friendly towards Pakistan.
Well,
their actions are showing that.
Well, these are the border, some incidents. We just cannot take
As if not the border incidents. What about the TTP? The TTP is getting all the support from Taliban.
Imran,
they have got asylum in Afghanistan.
I agree.
Right? Then the Taliban, instead of stopping them from indulging in terrorist activities in Pakistan, what they are doing is they are telling us that please talk to them and grant them amnesty.
And they have failed.
They failed, yes, of course they
So
have to fail.
this is the reason we have to bring the Taliban to the table, in a sense that they
Which
should,
Taliban? That Tehreek-e-Taliban or
No, Afghan Taliban, that they have to realize that by giving shelter to the TTP, they are not serving the cause of Pakistan and Afghanistan.
Don't you think they understand? They don't. I mean, you are trying to say they don't know this thing.
No, they know it, but they are bound because of the Ba'ath. The oath of allegiance
yes, right.
TTP has given to Mullah Haftarlah.
Yes, you're right.
And under the Sharia, if you have given Ba'ath to them, then they are duty bound to give them protection. Now, this is something of one thing, Sharia as well as tradition, Pashtun tradition.
Yes, right. This was later. Before that, immediately when they came into power, they released about 2,000 TTP prisoners.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
That was clear indication, and that their allegiance or that their feelings towards
Imran, they were
TTP
just
was
not TTP. They got released 7,000 prisoners.
But
in
these
which
TTP, they were terrorists.
So they are cousins. They are kissing cousins.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to, whatever Ambassador Asif has just said, I would like to add something more. Allegiance bai'at given by, the TTP elements to the Afghan side, yes, Sharia
And tradition.
Tradition they have mentioned, it is not one way. No doubt the TTP elements have given their accent to and allegiance to the Taliban in Afghanistan. But what the Afghan Taliban are doing to protect the interests of Pakistan, have done enough. We sent so many delegations, religious delegations, parliamentary delegations. Our Minister of State was there recently, just 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
In response, what we saw an assassination attempt on our ambassador in Kabul.
But that was by ISK, not by Taliban.
But it was their responsibility to protect,
Yes, that's
to protect the Pakistani ambassador to Kabul.
There is no doubt, if I may.
Yeah, please.
There is no doubt that Afghan Taliban are responsible for the actions of TTP.
Yeah.
We should have no doubt, because they are duty bound that even if they owe allegiance to Mullah Haftarlah, they are also duty bound to remain confined within Afghanistan and not try to disturb peace in Pakistan. They have to reconcile. And secondly, I think our people also committed mistake by entering into negotiations, although they wanted to exhaust all avenues of rapprochement.
But Asif, I don't understand, how can you enter into negotiations with a band of thugs, with a band of killers?
I fully agree. This was their logic. I'm not arguing on their behalf. I'm telling you. But now, they have also realized that their modus operandi was wrong, because they cannot be given any leverage or any leniency, because they are the thugs, as rightly you pointed out. They are the killers. Now, today we are also celebrating, observing the massacre of APS, those innocent students. How their parents and how their siblings, they may be feeling today.
Unfortunate.
And this is the second tragedy. Earlier tragedy was the East Pakistan becoming Bangladesh.
Now, Asif, both of you, in fact, gentlemen, the victory of Taliban, it emboldened other terrorist groups like TTP, like ISK. Now, we see resurgence of ISK. It has claimed responsibility for the attack on the hotel, Chinese hotel. Then, as Asif, you pointed out earlier, the killing of Russian diplomats. Then also the attack on our head of the mission, who luckily survived the attempt.
And in between, killing of minorities.
The Shias, the hospital.
Correct.
Now, what are the reasons for the resurgence? Why are they resurging?
Power play. They want to create a state, Islamic state, like they did in Iraq and Syria. So wherever you find those pockets where there is a gap or vacuum, they fill the vacuum. So Taliban have been and have not been able to control the whole country. One, secondly, they have not been able to control ISK. They were fighting with them while American troops were in Afghanistan.
Yes, they were.
And surprisingly, at some point, American troops, in fact, bound the Taliban positions.
Yes, exactly. They were
saving the
coordinating
ISK.
their attacks against the ISK.
So here, I mean, we have to then go back to the drawing board. That what is happening? What is happening? Now, Ahmad Shah Massoud's son is also getting active.
Yeah.
He is consolidating his position in the north.
In the north, yeah.
Indians have already joined Kabul. Since June, they have opened their embassy. French are getting active. Americans would be too happy if the situation changes on ground.
But as if, you see, French or Indian or Americans, they are not responsible for the incidents, killings which are taking place at the moment in Kabul.
No, those are giving them grounds to be active, to promote their own
grounds to
agenda.
Grounds to who?
Grounds in Afghanistan against the Taliban regime.
You mean to say they are helping ISK?
Absolutely.
No, I think that would be a far-fetched
well,
conclusion. You see,
right now we may not agree on that, but this has happened because ISK has never attacked Americans. They have never attacked Israelis. They have never attacked Indians.
Israel, they didn't get a chance to attack Israel. Otherwise, you see, Asif, ISK is a part of, it's a regional affiliate of ISIS, which has anti-Jewish or anti-Israel agenda.
But they also
have anti-American agenda. They could not get a chance to indulge in such activities in Afghanistan. But Chinese, Russians, and Pakistanis, they were able to do that. And then, as we discussed, that Americans had, how can they not attack Americans? The Americans have been responsible for killing them in coordination with the Taliban in 2019, 2020.
No, this was not the case. I'm afraid, Imran. There's a jury is still out on that. This has not been the case.
What?
About Americans killing the ISK.
They were attacks.
No, they were killing them in Iraq and Syria.
No. Even in Nangarhar, they were stationed in Nangarhar. They had their bases. They were kicked out of Nangarhar and in Kunar.
Those were done by the Taliban, mind you.
Taliban alone couldn't do it. They were helped by the Americans.
No, there was no. We can, but this was, I can tell you on authority, this did not happen.
Riaz, I want to say something, Imran. Whatever Asif has said, I will just add 2 points more. You know, Afghan Taliban are there. They are the de facto rulers of Afghanistan. It is their responsibility to improve governance and improve relationship with the neighboring countries, including Pakistan. We have been supporting Afghanistan and the Taliban, you know, for all means. And we are extending still, you know, they are getting food from us, right? And what they are doing, they have failed to control the TTP elements.
And ISK.
I am more concerned about the TTP element. They are Pakistanis, right? They need to control them. If they have given refuge, protection to them, then they must exercise the writ that there should be no attack on Pakistani interests from the soil of Afghanistan. That should be a red line for us. If Afghan Taliban fails to deliver on that count, our authorities must review the policy vis-a-vis the Taliban in Afghanistan. That is very important. We have sent delegations, as I have said earlier, religious delegations to talk to them, and they have not listened so far. I think we should not, you know, just issue the statement. We need to, if the time comes, we need to review our Afghan policy, particularly to what extent and how far we should continue extending our support to the Afghan Taliban while the whole world is criticizing them.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you heard our discussion. Um, my panelists are of the view that Taliban need to take control of things. Peace between our two countries depend on their policies, on their actions, and if these things continue, Pakistan may need to reconsider its policy options towards Afghanistan. Thank you very much, and good night.